Hello, everyone. Greetings for Dr. Yeo and greetings for everyone watching this video. Today, our group will present for you our project assignment about oil rig business plan. So, our group is called Archeus. What is Archeus? Archeus is derived from Greek word arche, which means beginning or origin. The name is fitting for an oil research team as they are constantly seeking to understand the origins and properties of oil, and also has a sense of authority and expertise, which is appropriate for a team of researchers. Here are the table of contents of our presentation. We've got the field overview, rig design, Archeus specifications, and the economical analysis. So, the oil and gas industry is increasingly using IoT technology for operational efficiency and sustainability. It enables real-time monitoring, improving processes, reducing downtime, and increasing productivity. It also addresses challenges in resource extraction and enhances safety and environmental responsibility. This marks a transformative shift in the industry. So the overview of our gas company is Jack and St. Malo Field in Gulf of Mexico, where it is owned by Chevron and its co-owners developed by Jack and St. Malo Fields. These reservoirs, which were found in 2004 and 2003 respectively, are situated roughly 25 miles apart and 250 miles southwest of New Orleans. It produces 56,000 barrels per day in 2022, 89.37% to 99.94% in CH4, 0 to 6.5% in nitrogen gas, 0 to 1.64% in carbon dioxide, and 0.06 to 0.234% in C2H6 that make up the generated hydrocarbons. It is located in the deep water region of the Gulf of Mexico. Specifically, they are situated approximately 25 miles apart and are positioned about 250 miles southwest of New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. Its water depth is at 7,000 feet. The Jack Field is located in Walker Ridge Blocks 758 and 759. At the St. Malo Field, appraisal drilling operations started in May 2004 and reached a depth of 7,036 feet in July of that same year. The well encountered 400 feet of net oil pay during this drilling operation. The geosciences and resources of this rig. The lower tertiary trend located at 20,000 feet below the sea floor along the U.S. Gulf Coast holds the reservoirs for Jack and St. Malo fields, deposited over 65 million years ago. This geological formation spans 300 miles from Texas to Louisiana. The trend is believed to contain substantial resources supporting initiatives lasting 30 to 45 years, with the combined fields having over 500 million barrels of oil equivalent in recoverable resources.
So this is the blueprint of the rig design. Next. And the general description using 8 Royal Voice Aquamaster 6,000 horsepower, variable speed, fixed pitch, fully azimuthing thrusters, and the Kongsberg DP Class 3, 8 times acre pushness electrical winches, 320 ST 290 NP aerator pool. And this is the overall station keeping and propulsion system.
Right.
Now, moving over to the economical analysis, we have many different types of tables that we've actually provided. And one, this is the general descriptions on how the oil rig has been implemented and how do we actually research for the materials, tools, and we actually even managed to separate between the tangible cost as well as the intangible cost. Now, moving forward to the cash flow statement, we have provided a myriad of data. So as we can see, there are different types of data provided, starting from year one, which is the investment phase, and the year two, which is the scaling phase. And thirdly, we have the third year, which is the profitability phase. So when it comes to the investment phase, obviously it would require well, let's say a huge amount of net balance required from the investors themselves. And it obviously means that when it comes to huge net balance, there always be a huge net income in terms of losses because during the investment phase, there always has been, let's say, well, the investment phase when it comes to the buildings, from the research and pretty much the research and developments and all those stuff like that. And we have the operating activities, which is at 17 million. And then we have the net cash for investing activities, which is at 29.5 million. And then for financing activities, we have the net cash for financing activities, which is at minus 35.3 million. And that's a total of 1.4 million at the end of the year. Well, moving on to the second year, which is the scaling phase. Now, the scaling phase is when happens is that the oil rig has been finishly built, but obviously there'll always be some propagations needed for it to be able to last in an extremely long time. So we have a net balance of 1.4 million with a net income of minus 63.3 million, which is less than the previous year. And we have the net cash, which is at about minus 25 million, and a net cash of investing activities of about 24 million. And we have the net cash for financing activities at minus 35.3, which runs at approximately minus 149 million at the end of the year. Now, lastly, for the profitability, this is where the fun part begins. The fun part begins is when the oil rig has pretty much finished all its initiation and propagation phase. And this is where profitability comes in because pretty much the only thing that you have to worry about is the maintenance. But then again, there'll always be a huge profit, which we get from this net income. And then we have the operating activities, which is, even though it's at minus, but on the overall investing activities, it's going to be lesser compared to the previous year. So which that leaves us into, even though it's a negative cash balance at the third year, but we assure you, but at the end of the decade, let's say year 9 or year 10, that cash balance will always be positive.
So this is the income or profit and loss statement. As you can see, the year one is investment. The category is revenue, cost of goods sold, and gross profit. The year one is no sales. So this is $0, and the year two is scaling. The sales began company and gross profit of $30 million. And the year three is profitability. Major scale up in production and sales leads to gross profit of $280 million. And operating expenses, there's R&D costs, factory setup or maintenance, general and administrative, selling and marketing, depreciation and amortization, total operating expenses. The year one is very high operating costs. It costs $56 million. And the year two is operating expense decreased to $29 million. And the year three is operating expense rise slightly to $41 million, mostly due to the scaling activities and higher depreciation. Continue to other income or expenses. There's property, plant, and equipment investment is $15 million each year. And additionally, R&D is so 15 million each year. Long-term debt repayment is 40.4 million each year. Interest expense is 10% annually is $8.9 million each year, and venture capital funding is 12 million each dollar. And interest income grows from 500,000 and 1 million and 1.5 million. Net income, profit or loss. Year one is heavy loss to the factory setup. Year two revenue begins to offset costs, but expense still exceed income. Year three, the company reached strong profitability as sales scale up significantly and operation stabilize.
Okay, so the next one is the balance sheet, I believe. Also the same as the last one, our focus on this one is the year 1, 2, and 3. So as you can see, the most money we spend is on the PPE for each year, which give us total of each asset in year 1, $83,200,000 because it is subtracted by the income. And then in year 2, it increased into 105 and $400,000, and it's still subtracted from the income. But in year 3, because we started making money, because it is more profitable that way, and our asset actually jumped from 105 into 308 and $600. Next. Okay, so here are our liabilities. So we spent on 5 things. As previously mentioned, we spent on PPE, which is initially $150 million. And then we also spent on R&D, which has not much, like around 30 million. And then we spend the debt on 144 million, which has 10% interest every year, which added around 89 million. Please note that we calculate all of this based on 10 years, and the venture capital of 60 million, resulting in $473 million in year 1, up to 352 and $400,000 million in year 3. Next. Okay, so this might look wrong because it is all minus. Keep in mind our basis is based on year 1, 2, and 3. Here is actually we have minus equity of minus $389 million on year 1. But through year 2 and year 3, we actually made profit over like $300 million, which resulting our equity increase actually from minus $43 million, which actually can be increased to the next years in year 4, year 5, so forth. So please don't mind this minus because it's definitely increasing. Next. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you understand what we